Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Madam Secretary. Yes, there is a lot of concern about the price of gas at the pump, and it is impacting all of our families. And Hawaii faces one of the highest prices in the country for a gallon of gasoline. It's around $5.27 per gallon. That's the highest in the country. And skyrocketing oil prices in 2008 solidified Hawaii's commitment to move toward renewable power. So we are now at about 30% of toward our goal of 100% renewable power by 2045, but that doesn't include gasoline. We're talking about electricity. How will the President's budget help us to accelerate the transition to renewable power, electric vehicles, and other zero-emission transportation options so that we are not dependent on the whims of Russia, OPEC, and the global oil markets?
Yeah, we know that, for example, people can't afford today, not everybody can afford today an electric vehicle. Mm-hmm. And so we want to make sure that we bring down the price of that vehicle. And the reason why that vehicle in many models is expensive is because of the price of the battery. And so we are all in at the Department of Energy in bringing down the price of the battery, both through technology, making sure that we are building out the supply chain for that battery inside of the United States so we can control the inputs for it. So that's one thing. And the second thing I'm hopeful that this Congress will do is to extend and expand upon the tax credits that will reduce the price of the electric vehicle at the dealership. And that is something that I think would be a great assistance for folks who are paying over $5 a gallon today.
Does the President's budget include tax credits for electric vehicles?
No, the President's budget does not include the tax credits. We're hopeful that Congress will approve them in the very near future.
Why didn't he include that then? Never mind. I think that's a rhetorical question. Thank you for saying that we need to do more to encourage the lowering the price and affordability of electric vehicles. I agree with you. So, island states, well, Hawaii, and remote communities in our country, we face unique barriers to accessing affordable, sustainable, and clean energy. And DOE's Energy Transition Initiative Program, the ETIs, support communities like those in Hawaii, energy transition efforts by facilitating the sharing of best practices and providing important technical support. And I know you are well aware that places like Hawaii and remote areas that are subject to huge, vulnerable to severe weather conditions, and that there's disruptions to our energy as a result. So construction of microgrids in places like Hawaii and remote areas is really important. And the ETI is currently helping assess which communities on Oahu could most benefit from microgrids, and on Kauai, it is doing much the same thing. Can you explain more about how the Energy Transition Initiative is helping remote and island communities address high energy costs and unreliable infrastructure, and what impact additional funding for the program would have on communities in states like Hawaii?
Yeah, the 2023 budget is requesting an additional $34 million to be able to support that program in the theory that no community should be left behind, and islanded communities are often overlooked, and we want to make sure we take advantage of the natural assets they have to be able to move toward clean energy. So for example, in Hawaii, you've got so much geothermal, which is a huge opportunity. It's one of the reasons why Hawaii is such a robust renewable portfolio standard. But there are other issues related to that. How do you get access to that power? And microgrids are one solution. Offshore wind, solar, there's so many renewable solutions, but you also have to add battery technology. So the point is you have to have technical assistance for these communities to be able to see what the options are based upon their comparative advantages, and that's what this program does.
Thank you. I just want to note that with regard to geothermal, there are very important cultural issues that exist in Hawaii with regard to resorting to geothermal. I know that you already asked about the investigation that is being conducted by the Commerce Department relating to solar components and the possibility of additional tariffs that this part of our industry is facing. So my question is, what resources could the DOE make available to address short-term impacts on solar projects solar projects and address longer-term issues relating to the solar supply chain?
Well, it does beg the question about building out the full supply chain for solar inside the United States, so we don't have to worry about the import issue. And that's why one of the President's requests of Congress is for example, Solar Energy Manufacturing Act, which would help to bring down the cost of manufacturing solar in the United States and all the components included. We're very supportive of that. We're also supportive, of course, of being able to use the advanced manufacturing tools that have been provided through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act to accelerate solar. We've got a request in our energy efficiency and renewable energy budget for a solar accelerator to advance solar manufacturing in the United States. That's $200 million we're requesting in this budget for.
Mr. Chairman, all of that is going to have to happen pretty fast because the solar projects are coming to a screeching halt as a result of the potential outcome of the Commerce Department's investigation. So I hope that your department can figure out how you can be of help right now. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator.